Welcome to the Emotional Eating Unwrapped podcast. I'm your host, Alana Kessler, an emotional eating and weight loss coach for women looking to fall in love with eating, create healthy attachments with food, and lose weight sustainably. Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Emotional Eating Unwrapped. I'm your host, Alana Kessler, and welcome to Wednesday. I'm recording this on Wednesday, and it is a beautiful spring day here in Louisville, Kentucky, where I am coming to you from my home office. It's coming together. My husband and I moved here about 2 months ago now. I can't believe that I've been living here for almost 2 months, a little over 2 months actually. And things are coming together. So I love my office, which I feel like is so important. One of the things I talk about a lot is like loving the space you're in and feeling really at home in the place where you spend a lot of your time. And I think that it is a huge factor in just feeling comfortable, feeling relaxed, and ultimately keeping your nervous system aligned and feeling not triggered, which is huge, especially as somebody who is always going to be in recovery from emotional eating and who has tendencies to get anxious. And I think that if you're listening to the podcast, you might resonate with that. So I just wanted to start today's episode with a little bit of gratitude about how comfortable and beautiful my environment is today. So thank you for indulging me in this little gratitude practice. And without further ado, we can jump right into the episode. So today we're going to talk about finding joy in movement. And the way that I'm going to present this topic is we're going to talk about redefining exercise and physical activity beyond using exercise and physical activity as a tool for weight loss. And this is such an important conversation because when we think of exercise, I almost feel like on a subconscious level, our brain always goes to, this is what I do to help me stay in shape, right? It's not always, but it's often prioritized from that perspective. And I think it's so important to address it from a different perspective, which is actually the perspective that I address exercise and that I really guide my students and clients to perceive exercise as when we are healing from emotional eating and also might have a weight loss goal. Okay, so a lot of the women and people that listen to this podcast or that are in my programs and in my courses really do have a goal of weight loss as well as healing their relationship with emotional eating, healing their relationship with food. And I think that this topic often gets confused. And I want to demystify it today because there is a major difference between how to view exercise and movement with women who are looking to lose weight in inches and feel good in their clothes, and women who are looking to craft a certain body composition and muscle definition, either as a personal goal or for athletic performance. Okay, there's a massive difference between your regular woman who's just, I want to drop some pounds, I want to lose some inches, I want my clothes to fit better, and someone who's like, I want to craft a particular body and I'm an athlete, or I want to craft a particular body image for performance, or I just, as a hobby, I want to really craft my musculature for whatever reason. Okay. And both those things are totally, totally, totally good, right? There's nothing negative to say about either of those goals. But understanding this distinction is essential because it completely impacts how exercise and movement will factor into your personal journey. Because I've seen time and time again, women whose goal is to simply lose weight. Not saying it's simple, but you know what I mean? Regular women whose goal is to lose weight, heal their relationship with food, again, just feel better in their clothes. They get sucked in to the exercise, meal plan, macro counting cycle, which is really a framework and a blueprint that you go down when you're more in the other lane, more of the I want to craft a body composition and I want to craft a body for performance. Okay, so many women get sucked into that lane, and without even realizing it, they start relating to their meals and exercise like, like a gym rat or an athlete eating some variation of foods or following a meal plan from their trainer that give you the right macro count and tracking how many calories you burn so that, how many calories you burn during exercise so you can earn cheat food, so you can earn more calories without losing any of your results. Okay, so many women who aren't looking to become athletes or aren't looking to, become ripped to compete in some body competition, end up behaving in their relationship with eating and food like women who decide to do that. Again, totally a fine goal, but it's a different goal. And it's important to understand and to acknowledge that it's a different goal. And the problem with regular, just your regular woman who's looking to lose weight and feel good in her clothes and feel good in her body so that she feels worthy of the life she wants, when she goes down that road, it most always ends the same way. Oh, this woman ends up being more afraid of food. There ends up being less joy, less spontaneity with eating. And typically, and this is proven even scientifically, and there have been studies about this, that any weight and inches lost while approaching food and exercise in this way end up disappearing because the plot was lost. So any gains or weight loss that you might have gotten when you're doing these programs end up going away anyway because you lost, not you per se, but because the plot was lost. The plot being you wanted to feel better. You wanted to feel better in your body. You wanted to feel better eating. You wanted it to be more light. You wanted it to be less rules, less in your head. And when you follow a macro count plan or you approach exercise in this way that's like a barter system, or you have these kind of rigid exercise plans and it's very intense, or you feel like exercise ends up being more like this like punishment thing you have to do in order to hit your goal, it becomes not light. It's very heavy. It's not that free feeling that you're looking for. It becomes oppressive. And it's the exact opposite of what you were looking for. Because instead of focusing inwards on getting to the root cause of emotional eating and rewiring your nervous system around feeling in control with food, which will create the foundation to naturally lead to weight loss, what happens is that you bypass this part and you latch on to metrics and data with the hope that once we get and achieve the body that we want, all of a sudden the compulsive and mindless eating or using food to soothe and distract from uncomfortable emotions will go away. But that's not how it works. That doesn't happen, which is why in my framework, exercise and movement are utilized to create mental and emotional ease. It's not used as a tool to get physical results. Not to say they don't contribute to physical results, because they usually do. The truth is, if you're not doing movement daily or every other day, whatever, if you're not doing movement and exercise, and then you do movement and exercise, you're probably going to lose weight. It's just biology and it's science and chemistry. In my framework and the way that I coach and teach my clients and students to approach exercise from a mindset perspective is not to see it as part of the work or the accountability. I don't build in exercise as an allowance for more calories or to use as a tool for weight loss. It's not what I do. And I know that a lot of women feel this way because when people come to me to work with me, a lot of the questions that I do get are around exercise. Like, well, how do I exercise? Almost like it's part of the plan. It's part of the accountability tool. But I don't approach it that way. I have a different way that I get women to move and to exercise, because the other way creates an extremely negative relationship with exercise, honestly. And especially for women who have perfectionist tendencies, who love, doing everything right, the type A, the good students, right? For women like that attitude towards exercise, the one that's more like the gym rat athlete, performance athlete type, it could be really negative and can lead to self-sabotage. It can lead to just quitting it altogether, quitting exercise altogether. It can lead to getting obsessed with exercise, even if you feel exhausted. So it's like you will just do it, even if you feel tired, which another problem with that is that when we tax our body with exercise, when we're tired and we have mental stress going on, our body doesn't discern the difference between stress. So even though we're exercising, our body will still process that as stress, and stress hormones will be released, leading to inflammation, leading to gut issues, leading to weight gain and weight not being released, which is another word for weight loss. And in extreme cases, approaching exercise in this way of it being like a tool for weight loss, accountability measurement, can even lead to binging and falling back into the emotional eating, weight gain, weight fluctuation cycle that you were trying to find freedom from in the first place. So I had a client who was literally taking 2 bar classes a day when we started working together. Okay, one she would take for herself, for her exercise, and one she would teach. Even if she had 4 hours of sleep or was emotionally exhausted from work and emotionally exhausted from being a mom to her teenagers or young kids, because instead of resting, she didn't feel safe because exercise was such a tool for her accountability, and she really felt like she only could eat if she exercised. She didn't feel safe to rest because she thought that if she rested, she would magically put on 5 pounds and lose all control over her food. And she felt extreme fear. Right? So exercise was this it wasn't this free thing, right? It wasn't generating positive energy for her. It was a taskmaster, and it completely controlled her sense of safety in her own body. And it wasn't something that was creating positivity for her. Now, obviously, we healed this internal bully that she had living inside her, and we rewired her belief system around what exercise provided for her, and that completely changed her life. Right? We got her to a place where she stopped feeling this obligation towards exercise, and the result was better digestion, reduced inflammation and weight loss, actually, more freedom around eating. And ironically, when she was approaching exercise and movement as an accountability tool towards her goals, she had constant stomach aches. She was stuck in patterns with food where she only felt safe eating very few things. She had poor sleep. And like I said before, because her brain was constantly going 24/7, just, all that internal judgment, all the hypercriticism, all of the, feeling obligated towards exercise as something that she had to do in order to make sure that she stayed accountable or disciplined. She had a lot of inflammation and she had weight gain. She was carrying pounds that she felt like she just couldn't lose. And I understood that because in my own journey, I finally found freedom eating. And I finally found permanent weight loss. I finally lost the 40 pounds that honestly I couldn't lose for a solid 10 years. Right? I'd fluctuate. Maybe I'd lose 10 pounds here and there, but like it would always come back. I finally found freedom from that when I too stopped using exercise as a distraction from the real work of healing my emotional eating and relying on exercise as this tool to make me feel safe eating certain things, almost like I had these banked calories that I could have, right? Or making me feel like I was working off something bad that I ate, right? When I stopped approaching exercise like that, I finally found the freedom and the weight loss that I was looking for. And instead, exercise became a tool for nervous system regulation, like it does for my clients now, and providing me with energy and keeping me in a positive headspace. I stopped training like an athlete and punishing my body with high intensity workouts and regimented weight training routines. Right? Not waking up at 6:30 a.m. and doing all these pre-planned workouts with macro counting meal plans to make sure that I recovered. Like I'm not an athlete, right? I realize that. Like I don't need to behave this way. It's not the way. And for me and most of my clients and students healing from emotional eating and wanting to lose weight, the ones who want to, those types of programs are not the right action towards their goals either. Not to say that sometimes I don't love a good run, an intense workout now and then, because the truth is I do. I like it. But I do it when my intuition tells me to. I do it when my intuition tells me to, and I know when I want to do it because it's like what I need, not because what I need to do in order to feel like I have permission or to feel safe. And I'm not saying that you have to only do yoga or low intensity. The truth is, it's not even about the actual exercise itself. What I'm telling you is it's about attuning to your body and what kind of exercise or movement it needs, or actually sometimes what it doesn't need on that particular day. Sometimes rest is what it needs. And letting that intuition be your North Star towards deciding how to move that day, instead of programming exercise in as a must-have for you to achieve your goals and feel safe. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today. I really hope that this conversation about exercise really opened your mind and helped you to see how there is a way to approach our relationship with movement and exercise that can be generative and positive, and that it really is a separate lane from the weight loss journey, and that it can be an enhancing resource. It doesn't have to be an accountability tool. Okay, so don't forget to join me again next week with another new episode about emotional eating so you can fall in love with eating and start losing weight and keep it off with sustainable strategies and lasting change. If you found this episode insightful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with those who may benefit from this empowering knowledge. I also have lots of free resources on my website to support you on your journey to loving food and losing weight. Just go to www.bewellbyak.com. And until next time, I'm Alana, and thank you for listening to Emotional Eating